Oh, I know how we can start the podcast. Hey everyone. Um, if someone asks you why you follow them on social media, what you don't want to do is be a bastard and start talking about the size of someone's boobs. Maybe just be a good human and actually say why. And if you don't have any reason apart from the boobs, just don't say anything. Go into your
Yeah.
hole, get under a rock, and learn how to be a better human being.
Thank you. I needed that.
No worries, no worries. Welcome to the World to Rates podcast. That was a public service announcement from me, Chris Payne, saying stop being dickheads.
Yeah. Specifically men.
Specifically men.
Sort it out.
Yeah. But it's not
Right.
all men, but it's a lot of you.
I was having a conversation with a friend about. I don't know why I said that so weirdly. I had a conversation.
I had
with
a conversation with a friend. I'm the kind of person who has friends. Yes, I have many friends. Please believe me.
So I was having this conversation about how like women manage to control themselves and you don't go, oh boobies, like you women say, oh, you're looking really nice today, or I like your hair today, or I like your makeup. It's not like oh, I could motorboat her.
But what I would like to know is what we're doing this week, Kat.
Oh, okay, so
Smooth. That was such a smooth transition.
I feel like I'm being interviewed.
So what
I
makes you feel
thought-
like you're qualified for this position?
No comment.
Alright, well fuck off then. There you go.
So, with this week's podcast, we're still doing this sort of like unstructured thing at the moment, just to kind of take a bit of pressure off of us.
Yeah, we're lazy.
We're lazy.
I'm fine with that.
And I thought, because a lot of people are handing in their dissertations, it might actually be a bit late in hindsight. People are handing in their dissertations, and it made me think of, like, what advice would I give to 18, 19-year-old Katrina in first year of university. And I thought, yeah, it might be a good topic of, like, what advice would you give your pre-university self? It doesn't even necessarily have to be university stuff, but I just thought, that's an experience we've both gone through, and we might have some funny stories as well that will be interesting to discuss.
Yeah.
Mr. Payne.
Do you want me to start you off? Something I tell myself is, and it's a weird one to start off with, but I'll go with it. Make sure you pack a pair of scissors, because when I got to uni, I realised I had not bought any scissors. And
that's not good.
On its own, it wouldn't be so bad. However, I also had not unpacked any of like the stuff that like we bought. So you had these like knives inside
knives that you
plastic
couldn't
packaging and things that had the like black like cable tie things around them, which are quite hard to take apart without scissors. And the list went on.
God.
So my parents dropped me off, they left, it was all good. I went to the shop, came back, fine, started unpacking my stuff and went, oh dear, this isn't very good. I need those. And so I basically had to, the first of many terrible encounters with knives, use another knife, which luckily was not in a like plastic thing, to try and cut through these bits of plastic.
God.
And I lost count of the amount of times where I nearly impaled myself on my first night at university. So I definitely say make sure you don't have. Also, a little follow-up thing involving knives. There's a lot of stories involving knives, kind of concerning. If you drop a knife, what you need to do, and it's very important, step backwards so the knife falls onto the floor, and not what I did, which was me chopping like onion or something. So I've got like the big like I've got like a big knife, like I don't know, like so big, like it's pretty sharp. And I just, I dropped it because I'm clumsy, butterfingers, whoops. Um, and I just watched it fall towards my toes. And I'm incredibly lucky that it landed with the blunt side on my toes, so it just hurt me because it didn't even occur to me in that moment that the sharp side would just potentially cause me some injury. Um, I, in retrospect, it seems weird that I would not have moved. Um, I think
Yeah.
I think I was just in some kind of weird psychotic mood where I was like, I wonder how this will pan out. Um, but yeah, so that's something I tell myself. Remember your scissors. Um, be careful with knives. Um, that's just one of many, but I thought I'd start us off with that one. How did that one make you
No,
feel?
no, that. Do
Can
you
you
know
imagine
what?
the
It was
knife
just.
going down towards your feet?
It was a bit too relatable
Oh
because
Lord.
honestly, last week I actually sent. I've got photo evidence because it was very similar to your story there, and I
Thank you.
thought I was gonna lose a toe. Um, we've got sort of like lino in our kitchen, and the knife, and this is a big kitchen knife, very sharp, like Debenhams. It's our best knife. You know, you have like one
You have
knife
the
that's
good knife.
sharper than the rest. Yeah, it's so good. And I was washing up, and you know, when you like looking around, and there's no more space to put the washing up. And you don't want to take your gloves off and dry stuff up to put it away to then start washing up again. So you just sort of like play Tetris. Um, so I was doing that, and then this fuck off knife slides out, and I'm wearing Crocs, so it would have been game over. And I moved my foot, so I did move back, otherwise I would have lost a toe, and it stuck upright in the floor. Like it embedded itself into the floor. I had to actually pull it out with um, like, wait, King Arthur? Wait, is that right? Am I being fucking dumb?
What you're trying to say here is the sword and the stone thing, right?
That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was
I'm
thinking
I'm
of.
now doubting whether it's King Arthur, but I don't know why because. Okay, yeah, carry on. I'll research this. I'll fact
Yeah,
check.
but like I then like pulled that out of it. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that hard to pull out, but like,
It was a big
yeah.
struggle. You can sense her just.
I then pulled it out of the floor and was like, oh my god. You know, and you look at your toes and you have a new appreciation for them after that. I was like, oh thank god. But no, yeah, that advice is good for at any age.
I'd say
Don't
so.
drop a massive knife on your foot.
Knives are dangerous, and you should be careful with them. That's what I would say.
Oh, another thing with knives is that when you go to
Welcome to
university,
knife safety, everyone. By the way,
knife safety, you don't need 6 knives to go to university because I guarantee you'll only use 2 of them,
why did you
maybe
have
even
6
one.
knives?
Oh no, I didn't. My housemate did, and then everyone just used. I bought 2 knives, right? Because I'm a sensible bean. No, I was just poor and couldn't
To be
afford
fair,
more.
I did have. Yeah, carry on.
And yeah, like I went to Marks and Spencers. This is the only thing. I think I bought a blanket and then 2 knives from Marks and Spencers because I thought I'll treat myself to those 3 things. And yeah, so I bought those and they were great. And everyone in my house ended up using my 2 fancy knives instead of their 20 billion other knives. And when you end up moving in with each other, you end up, and Chris, I'm sure you had this, like with 4, 5, 6 different sets of cutlery that everyone's got.
Yes.
And you all fight over one person's, like, Max's cutlery and Evie's cutlery was like posh, so we always used to like nick their cutlery instead of ours.
It's so weird because you don't. This is the thing, right? I actually have several things here, so I'm going to try and remember all of them, but I'm going to say them in the wrong order, so I'll forget one. Yeah. What is it about? So, like, when I got to 3rd year, by the time I got to 3rd year, I had 6 glasses, just like normal like
Yeah.
glasses. Probably like 5, 6, maybe 7 mugs, like 4 plates, multiple bowls, so on, so on, so on, and then the cutlery and all stuff. And it was like, why? Why does it never occur to like us as students to like just share it more?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, okay, in first year that's not ideal because the people you're
you
living
don't know
with
everyone
are
properly.
some of them are going to be disgusting and they're going to leave stuff to
Yeah,
become moldy before they do anything about it. But there's a point where like, especially by third year, you generally kind of trust the people you're with. Like you've got, and it's like
yeah,
at that point you are just wasting space in this house because
yeah.
each of you is trying to fit the same stuff into different cupboards and like it just doesn't work. And I've just never, it's never occurred to me that
True.
maybe like we should just like we should be more like forward planning and go, actually, you know what, let's just pool it together. But I don't know, maybe we just like owning stuff and
Well, to
that's
be
part
fair,
of it.
like when I moved in, I lived with the same people for 3 years because I was very lucky,
Yeah.
and like there was other people in our flat in first year that didn't continue living with us, but
Goodbye to them.
we, yeah, literally,
The fallen
um,
soldiers.
fallen soldiers. One of them was my biggest nightmare, but we'll probably talk about that in a bit. But with plates and stuff, we all shared in second and third year, and we had dinner parties and stuff like that. So we all just. But the only thing I would say is if you have like a special glass that has been given to you and is sentimental, or it will get broken.
Yeah, of course it
So
will.
so don't, if you don't want it to get broken, keep it in your room and don't use it because it will get smashed. Like I had in first year, Katie actually bought me for my, I think it was my 18th birthday, um, a wine glass which she'd like got engraved
We
with
stan Katie,
my.
by the way. Just want to throw that
We
in. That's a World
we
to Rights
love
podcast.
Katie.
Stan.
Her, but she got me this lovely glass that was engraved, and it just one day disappeared, and I think it was my evil housemate who smashed it and then just didn't tell me. So it just evaporated. Yeah, so that was sad. So yeah, just if you've got something special, it will get broken if you
Definitely.
keep it in communal areas.
Definitely. If not by yourself, by someone else. Someone's going to break it. It might well be you. Things happen. Um, Going back to knives thing, I have just tried to and count how many I
Fuck's
had.
sake.
So I had a set of 3 plus a
Yeah.
bread knife.
Okay.
And I think that was literally the like, I think that's the maximum you need. That's the maximum you need.
Yes.
It was like, there was like, so I had a bread knife, I had like, and then it was like varying sizes. It was like a big one, like smaller one, then a smaller one again. And like, I
Yeah.
guess they each had different kind of needs. Like you wouldn't pull out the big knife if you were cutting like cheese or something. You know,
Yeah.
they're different purposes. That's
Yeah.
it. That's your maximum. That's a good tip. Don't start overthinking it and bringing your entire kitchen cupboard. Like
Yeah.
ideally, bring the bare minimum because you're definitely going to end up buying shit anyway at
Oh
uni.
yeah, you will.
And like, why start at a low base so that when you buy stuff, it doesn't become overwhelming because otherwise you'll buy the same stuff anyway. And then by the time
Yeah.
you leave university in 3 years, you'll be like, fuck me, my house is full of shit. And it's a nightmare.
Also, don't buy expensive like cooking shit.
Yeah.
Like don't buy fancy pots and pans because they will die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first
had-
year I had like cheap ones. They were like, I mean, I bought them from Tesco. They, you know, to be fair,
Yeah.
they got me through first year. They weren't so nice after that. And at that
No.
point, I kind of bought a nicer set, but that was more just because I was like, these will last a bit longer now and stuff. And I was thinking ahead at that point. I was like, well, if I ever, like, if I don't live at home after uni, then I can use these. But it wasn't like I didn't go to uni having splashed cash and bought the most expensive stuff. Ideally, don't buy the most expensive stuff. Wait and see how you handle it because you might well break it anyway, and you'll feel less bad if you break a cheap Tesco pan.
Or burn it.
Or burn
you're
it.
drunk. You're drunk a lot in first year, and I don't think I burnt any of my stuff, but my
No, I was quite good at
housemate.
that.
actually B got the short straw because Evie tried to make Christmas pudding and melted a entire plastic thing into her and burnt the
Oh
shit
no.
out of her pan. Hilarious, one of those funny events of my university experience. We were trying to, because we're on the 4th floor and we're trying to stop the fire alarm going off so we didn't get charged, and yeah, this melting pot went out the window and
Horrible.
all of that. And then there was another pot she had that Max was cooking pasta, and I don't know if he was drunk or just forgot, but he just left pasta on and burnt the shit out of the pan. Like, it was not usable. It was like charcoal. So yeah, like B's probably got like a pink pan, a orange pan, a black pan, like at this point.
Multicoloured pans.
Yeah,
And that's not
I've got a £3 frying pan that I bought on my first day at uni because I realised I didn't have a frying pan, and it's still in my cupboard. I still use it.
Nice.
So like, you know, the cheap stuff sometimes lasts, sometimes it survives.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I had a third thing as well.
Go for it.
Now, it kind of takes us off topic for a bit, but
Uh-oh.
I'm going to start by being on topic, and then we'll go into my angry rant. So, don't think that you're good enough to not go to places like Aldi or Lidl, because they'll quickly become your best friend.
Oh yeah.
Very quickly. Because, and weirdly, and go with me on this, there is some stuff in Aldi and Lidl that like you'll only find it there, and it's actually really, really nice. Like, it's really good, and you actually want, you'll go specifically to buy that. I'm just saying, I love Aldi. I'll be in there a while. Like, the fact that I walked down the middle aisle one day and genuinely saw a chainsaw for sale, is the most beautiful thing I've ever. I didn't buy it, but I love the fact I saw it. Now, let's take that love for Aldi and remember it as I go into this part.
Okay.
So this week, I don't know if you saw it, M&S have decided to sue Aldi.
What?
And it's over. I mean, I feel like I don't even need to. You know the caterpillar cake.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, I saw this.
You know
I saw this, but I didn't. Yeah, I saw a TikTok about this, but I didn't know that it was an actual problem.
Yeah. So M&S have decided to get angry because so M&S, Marks and Spencers, they have their caterpillar and it's called Colin the caterpillar. Aldi also sell a caterpillar cake and it's called Cuthbert. Now, let's ignore the fact that sounds like an ultra Tory. No, it's been around for a while. That's theirs. Now, I know what you're thinking here. You're like, oh, it's another one of those Aldi rip-off things where, you know, Aldi are well known for taking, like, a brand and, like, adjusting it a bit.
Duping it.
Like, and, like, changing the name so it looks the same. Like, it's similar enough that you go, oh, I know what this is. But, you know, it's not. Anyway, I've actually had the caterpillar one from Aldi. Pretty damn nice. But let me take you through some other ones from other supermarkets.
Oh, yeah.
So Asda sell Clyde the caterpillar. Tesco sell Curly the caterpillar.
I thought Tesco was the, like, origin of the caterpillars.
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever had an M&S caterpillar cake. That's too bougie.
Yeah, I think that what this is saying is that M&S were the first one. Morrison's have got Morris the caterpillar. Not so great. Sainsbury's have got Wiggles the caterpillar. Now, the big underlying thing here is that every supermarket has a caterpillar cake. They're just like some basic, Aldi? Like, British thing, right? Like, everyone's had it at some point. We've all seen it. We all know what it looks like. Blah blah blah. Like, it's a caterpillar cake. It's basic stuff. Now, if I have to pick a side, which, you know, let's take this to the extreme. Let's say that this is me saying which supermarket should live and which supermarket should die. I would take a gun, place it on Marks and Spencer's head, and pull the trigger before I got rid of Aldi. I don't like that M&S have gone for this. and they can fuck off. That's what I'm saying
They
here.
can fuck off.
Withdraw your legal action because no one cares about you. If you're failing, get better and maybe stop being so bougie so that people want to shop there. But get your fingers off Aldi because I'm not willing to. I will stand up in court if it needs to happen. I will be there and defend Aldi's right to take a brand, make it cheap, and sell it to me.
Yes.
It is the best, and M&S can fuck off. I'll shut it down gladly. So back off, M&S. But that was just a small angry aside that I had from the week. Unrelated, but also Aldi's great. So
Aldi is great. Oh yeah, but you gotta. The thing is, I thought Aldi was gonna be my saviour. Good thing to do is if you're about to go to uni, is actually to check where the supermarkets are in relation to your student accommodation, because in Oxford, for example, they're all like Tesco Metro and like mini Sainsbury's and all of that lot. It's difficult, and most people don't I don't know if with you, but in Oxford we weren't allowed to bring cars in first year because there wasn't the parking, and Oxford's funny about that. So we weren't allowed to bring cars, so no one drove, so you couldn't drive to the shop, so you just had to settle for like co-op and all of that. Yeah, how was it in Birmingham?
So Birmingham was where I was. We had a Tesco like click and collect point literally outside my accommodation. So it meant that you could literally place Tesco delivery and it would just come straight to you there, and you just have to take it from there back inside. Really easy. The rest of it, so there was a little town like about 15 minutes walk away that had like a small Sainsbury's. I think it had a Marks and Spencer. Waitrose, I think, was there. It was it was that kind of dollar area.
Yeah.
But also the other direction, and close to where I lived second and third year, there's a as I'm gonna call it and will ever call it, the big Sainsbury's. And Aldi and like 2 Tesco Expresses within like 5 minutes of each other. So yeah, that was a good choice of things. It was a little bit of a walk in first year because you're on like further away, but it wasn't a ridiculous amount. And you could definitely walk it. You might feel quite tired when you got back with all your shopping, but you could easily walk it.
Yeah.
Whereas Oxford is Oxford just feels like it's not unfriendly city, but like Oxford is too small for anything to have been built like near the centre, right? So I have to imagine if there's like supermarkets and things, you're going outwards. You have to get out to the bits that hadn't like have been built later. So I feel like if you are anywhere relatively near to the middle of Oxford, then you settle for the smaller shops or get your walking boots on because you're going for a long one.
Okay, this brings me. This is a nice segue too. My life hack, and I only actually did it once, and everyone took the piss out of me. However, I stand by it. I might have told you this before, but I knew I needed to buy alcohol and mixers from Tesco. Tesco was like, was it a mile away? We lived on a hill, so it probably wasn't a mile away, but
and did you have to walk up the hill to Tesco?
Yeah, well, down the hill, but then up the hill once you got all of your shopping. So it was a bit of a shitter. It wasn't a long walk, but it was just hard if you had a load of crap like I would going back up. So I decided to take my cabin suitcase with wheels that's got 4 wheels, and that my nan bought me for my birthday, so when I was going back and forth from Pierce's house, that I could take it in this nice. So I love that suitcase. And I thought, okay, if I'm going up a hill with a shit ton of alcohol, why don't I take my suitcase, go to self-checkout, so the woman at the checkout till is not going to judge me for putting alcohol into a suitcase, and then walk home. And it was the best decision I made. I didn't split any bags. I didn't want to cry after 10 minutes of walking. I just got on with it, and it was very successful.
I
So
actually had a friend in Birmingham who did that. She lived further away from Aldi. And
yeah,
so she, yeah, on several occasions just went with a suitcase and did like that. And she was like, yeah, it was the best choice I've made because she just got to the end, like went through, got to the packing thing, put it in a suitcase, off she went. Perfect. Never broke a thing in her life. Um,
exactly.
and it
And
was
like
brilliant.
the whole point of having a suitcase is to transport things. So why wouldn't you just apply that to your food shop if it's necessary?
Yeah, me too. My mind's gone blank.
Don't buy like Sainsbury's own brand or Tesco own brand lager. That just you might want to save money. Don't do that. That is too low. You are not a homeless man who is spending his daily takings on lager that is 2%. Don't do it. Treat yourself.
Be kind to yourself. Don't do it.
Honestly, tastes like arse, and it's not even strong enough to get you drunk. So just don't do
Buy
it.
yourself something nicer. Treat yourself. Go on.
Yeah.
Something I'd say, and it's more because I'm a horrible introvert. Um, don't feel bad if the last thing you want to do at uni is go out clubbing every night and stuff, or like doing things, because there's a lot of pressure to do that. I think especially when
Yeah.
so I know that my housemates were really into that. Really, that was what I wanted to do, and like everyone went, um, like a few nights, especially in Freshers Week, and it's just not for me. I don't really enjoy it that much, to be quite honest with you. Maybe it's because I was born about 60 years old and I just continuously age, but it feels like hell, and I've been a couple of times and I do not enjoy the experience that much. It just I'm uncomfortable. People are just too close, and like I feel quite um privileged not had anyone try anything um do anything to me. What if that's a guy or what, I don't know. But I've known my female friends say that they've had incidents in clubs and things where men have got far too um
Comfortable
and touchy and
Yeah.
doing, really inappropriate behavior. And I just, yeah, don't look, if you don't want to do it, don't put yourself through it. Just feel free to say to your housemates, your flatmates, whatever, I don't want to. And don't let yourself be peer pressured into it. If you don't want to do it, it's cool. Do what makes
And you
you
might
happy.
find that they feel the same way as you,
Yeah.
and then you can do something that you all like. I
Yeah.
know with my house lot, we all preferred pubs to clubs.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We did freshers. We all went out and did clubbing, and then by the end of it, we were exhausted and just like, do any of you actually like clubbing? Because I don't. And then we realised that we preferred pubs, and then we actually had 2 amazing nights of like we went to an Irish pub and we were singing along with some folk musicians, and then we went to another Irish bar, funny enough, and there was a tribute band. I can't remember who the tribute band were now, but we were just singing and dancing along, and we were like the only young'uns there, really.
Don't be worried that people will see you negatively for that, because to be honest, if you have people that start looking at you in a negative light because you don't want to go clubbing or something, then the good news is that you've just discovered who you don't want to stay friends with.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, like your friends should actually be supportive of you and understand that it's not something you want to do.
And there's stuff you can do, like in summer we used to have like barbecues in the park together, like not like a park, like a big field basically. And we all used to sit down and we'd all bring, someone would bring crisps, someone would bring lemonade, and that was really nice. There's loads of things you can do that are cheap and
Definitely.
and cheerful.
Definitely. Yeah. You can do so much. Like it's not all uni can be whatever you want it to be, almost. Like there's no one way that you can go through it and enjoy it. Some people are perfectly content to go to like do their work, to like just chill and not do a lot. and that's acceptable. Some people are willing to go and, be out all the time and, maybe not do as much work and then just come out with like 2-1, whatever. Fair play. Like, everyone has their own experience, and you shouldn't feel bad for whatever one you have. Don't have any
Yeah.
regrets. Don't look at someone else and think, "Oh, what if I'd had more fun?" And it's just not. It didn't happen, and that's fine because you did your thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're typically only at university once, and that's like the years that you have to be carefree with sort of very few responsibilities, and so enjoy yourself and like obviously balance your work because you've got to remember that's the reason why you're there, it is to get a degree, but you know just don't, like in third year there's a lot of pressure to knuckle down, which is good because if you need to do the work to get like the grade you want, then do that. But also, that time goes so quickly. I'm sure you'll agree with me, Chris, that like those 3 years just get away from you. Like it's crazy. It feels like a dream. Like
Definitely,
do exactly what you want when you want.
absolutely. And then I feel like I've moved away from the. We can go back to the funny side, but it's a good time to mention it. One thing I would definitely tell myself is go and get help for your mental health when you notice signs of it, and also don't
Yeah.
kind of hold back from. So I've explained before. A few months into university, I kind of increasingly knew that I wasn't feeling good. And it was something that had
Yeah.
been there before uni, but I just placed it down to other things. Um, and so I went to my doctor, and my doctor was like, "Yes, I think you're depressed. I think you have anxiety." I was like, "Okay, well, this is good. I have like a name for it now."
An answer. Yeah.
And they were like, "So here's some stuff we can do. You can go to therapy. You can try and go to therapy and have a few sessions. You can, and they normally recommend that you did that with medication." And for some reason, I was dead set against medication at the time. I was really, really, really like, no, 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 no. I don't need it. Um, Now, spoilers. I did. Um, and in some ways, it would have been better had I started that journey a little bit sooner. I think for me, just generally.
Yeah.
As it's turned out, it's not like things have gone necessarily badly for me because of the things that have happened. Like, I still came out of uni with a first. I still succeeded in my degree. I managed to do things I wanted to do. But I think I potentially made things harder for myself by trying to wish away the things that I was actually going through. And going to uni is a tough time because you're 18, or normally 18, 19, whatever. It's possibly the first time you've actually lived away from home for like a while. Like, you're basically
Yeah.
leaving home at that point. It's a bit different, obviously, and different for everyone, but you're basically leaving home, and you start realizing how stressful you find some things, how stressful you find responsibilities of doing some things. Remembering what bills you have to pay, what when the rent has to be paid, whether you've got enough money to pay for things, what shops you need to go to, what you need to do, and then like there's lots of things that can suddenly seem like a lot out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're in a different place. You're a place you're not really that familiar with people that you don't know so well. Um, it's this whole time of change, and you might suddenly become aware of things that you've been repressing for a while, or you might discover some new things about yourself. And I think it's just important to accept them as being somewhat valid. Like, your feelings are always valid.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling, um, do your best if you can to try and get help. And it might not be easy. I know at my uni, the mental health support at the time wasn't great. Quite honestly, it was appalling.
Mm.
It's got better now. I was reading something the other day about improving access to therapy and talking therapies, which is really good. Um, but it was appalling when I was really struggling. And it
Yeah.
took me out longer to get there. Um, and I didn't really talk to my friends about it and the people that I cared about. And that was a mistake, because actually, had I done that a bit sooner, that would have really helped me. So yeah, if you feel safe in doing so, um, talk to people, share your experiences, because as with so many things,
Yeah.
you might find out that a lot of people feel the same way. I didn't realize that a lot of people who I was friends with were struggling with similar kind of thoughts and feelings. And we actually sat down and talked about it, and realizing that we had common things going on, it was like, oh god, this is
Yeah.
good, because I know that actually I'm not some weirdo who's got some, like, I'm not uber sensitive, and I really like
Yeah, no, of
you realize
course,
it.
of
So it's
course.
definitely good to remember that you whatever you're feeling, it's valid. Just
And
do what you need.
another thing sort of supporting this is that remember that your lecturers are people too, and
Hmm.
they have been in your situation doing that degree, doing the undergrad, and um, actually, like, to get where they are, a lot of lecturers have to go through therapy and um, struggle with mental health stuff because for some reason doing, well, not for some reason, there's obvious reasons why, but doing a PhD is just that um, is really mentally challenging for people, so they will probably be able to relate to you. So if you do need to message them saying you need to take a mental health day, or you you're struggling and you're hoping to get help, but like, because then it might be just stuff like if they want to pick someone out of the class to give an example, they won't pick you that day.
Yeah.
Just to give you a bit of that. They're just, you got to just remember that they're people, and
And I did
a
that
lot.
with like new modules that I did in third year. Like I would message the lecturer and I go, "Hi, just want to let you know, I struggle a lot with depression, anxiety. Um, it would really be helpful to me if you could like not like pick on me for questions and expect to be like, I will try my best to volunteer answers when I feel
Yeah,
comfortable, but it would help me." And everyone was really good about it, and really was great. And I actually, it was, I hate putting my hand up and giving answers to things. Um, but I actually did it in all of those modules. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll throw an answer in. It might be completely wrong, but I'm at
yeah.
least comfortable to do it. And it was because I'd
You'd taken
set
that
that
pressure off
thing,
of yourself. Yeah, no,
definitely.
no, no, 100%. No, that all makes
And
sense.
I think as
Like,
well, if your lecturers don't, because I mean, you know, as much as a lot of lecturers are really good in understanding, some of them are complete dickheads.
oh
Um,
yeah, some of
and
them.
some of them will just like not understand or not be helpful. And it's something that a lot of people are a little apprehensive to do at first. Don't be afraid to go up a level. Um,
Oh yeah,
and
don't.
I
Yeah,
did it
do
a few
it.
times because sometimes it's not acceptable. You have the right to be, you're paying, if you're a UK student, you're
University is a
paying
business,
£9,000 a year, right?
and if you're international, it's like what,
It's even
13 and
more.
a half?
Yeah,
Yeah,
could be. It's crazy. So you're paying a lot of money for this. You definitely have the right to be treated as, you know, in with respect and in the
yeah,
right way. If you feel that your lecturer isn't treating you with respect, then you have a really, really good option. Go to the next step up and explain to them why you feel, and don't be afraid of making
yeah,
problems with that lecture, because to be honest, if you're feeling like they're marginalizing you or being rude to you or being, not treating you properly, they're almost certainly doing it to other people as well.
yeah,
So don't be afraid to do that. I've done it a couple of times, and I felt like fuck the consequences. I'll do it. And actually, what happened was it worked out well, because even though the lecturer wouldn't have listened to me had I said it, it came from the top down, and they were
yeah.
like, "Ah, I have to sort
The
this out." And it did. They did, and it became this better thing. And I hope that that helped other people as well.
and that's the other thing. It's not just you. You've got to think it's the people in the following years and who might be too scared to say something as well. So, that's really
And the
important.
people before you who might have felt the same and gone, "Oh, I'm not going to say anything." Like, you could be the one to break the cycle. Um, so yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
I wouldn't see it as like. I think some
the
people thought it's like a Karen kind of thing of like, I'm going to talk to your manager. Um, but no, like, you have the right to be treated fairly, and if you're not being treated fairly, definitely say something, because you deserve better.
the advice I'd say as well is that it it doesn't hurt to get your lecturers to like you, and the more effort you are putting in, the more willing they will be to give you feedback and to help you.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
And
Don't
like
be worried about
obviously,
looking like a nerd or something. Like that's embrace that.
no, and you've also got to remember that you're networking as well. Like the people there are professionals in if you end up wanting to do a PhD or work in research or work at a university or anything like that, and they've got their own lives. If so, like for me, you know, all these music people in one room, they've all got different experiences and different people that they know. So they're a great resource to network from. I just thought of a random one that's sort of like going backwards slightly, but I think it's really useful to people if they're in student accommodation. Two things actually. Okay. Thank you, Pippin.
Thanks, Pippin.
The first one is that the washing machines that they get you to use, they're so expensive and they try and rip you off by making things awkward prices, and that your cart, it'll be like a minimum of £5 to top your card up, and then the washing machine will be like £2.60. So you have to just constantly top it up. But my advice is, if say you're a girl and you've got a girl housemate that you get on well with, do it together, because they're massive machines, so you'll be able to fit all your stuff in, and then it's cheaper, and you can treat yourself to using the tumble dryer or whatever. Also, bring a clothes horse.
Oh my god, every day. Every day.
I forgot, and that was
No.
an
No.
mistake.
Tell you what, I don't know if it's the same in Oxford. In Birmingham, definitely. The tumble dryers were shit. They were appalling. So we had I'm actually going to name and shame the company. They were called Circuit Laundry, and they were the biggest load of scam lords. They were ridiculous, right? So they gave you this app, and the app was, you turn up and you can scan this QR code, and it will just do it all through the app, and it will tell you when you're watching. It's not bougie because it didn't work. It was shit. It didn't work. It was crap. That's what it was. Essentially. So I ended up having to have this like laundry card. I think I've still got it somewhere weirdly. Whatever. And it's fine. The amount of times where I literally had to set aside an entire day to do my laundry, because you get in there at 9 a.m. You're lucky you got a machine. You close into the machine. Cool. What is it? An hour and a half. Fine. Hop back over to accommodation. Start doing a bit of work on your essay, which you need to do, and you should have started a week ago. Cool. Blah, blah, blah. Hour and a half. You're back over there. Cool. Your clothes are clean. You kind of wish that the washing machine had spun a bit more water out of them because they're quite sodden, but that's the smaller side. Yeah. It's fine. You move past it. It's clean at least. You can smell them. They're clean. Great. They go into the tumble dryer. Tumble dryer goes on. It goes 2 hours. No worries, B. I'll see you in 2. Hop off, do some stuff, eat some food, waste some time, procrastinate, whatever. Back down. Check on your clothes. Not really that much drier than when you left. Kind of. Yep. It's more like someone has just gently breathed on them. Like, there's some idea of warmth. There's like, the concept of warmth is somewhere there, but not much else. So you're like, it's okay. Maybe there's a problem. You always remember, clean out the lint filter. You pick up, weirdly, it's full of lint, and you're like, seems weird, I'm not sure you did anything to my clothes. It's fine. Get rid of that lint, put it back in, put your thing on. You're spending more money at this point, but you don't care because you want dry clothes. Off you go. Back over to your accommodation. It's another 2 hours, blah, 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 watching YouTube, watching Netflix, cool, lots of cups of tea, great. Back down again. They're drier, but they're not dry. They're not dry. You can still feel the moistness in there. And for some reason, you think third time is the charm. Out goes the lint filter. Back in. Dear. They think, you're now gonna spend 6 hours trying to tumble dry your clothes. Tumble dry goes on. Away you go. Bit more work. Wasting time. Thinking about what you want for dinner. Wasting time. Bit more work. Back down again. You open it up. It's been almost 8-9 hours since you started your laundry. You open the machine. Yeah, I know, Pippin. I know. You open it up. Still damp. How, you wonder? How could this have happened? How? I spent 6 hours tumble drying this stuff. How could it still be damp? And you end up
I don't even
having
understand.
spent 3 times as much as you should have done. It's still damp, and you're like, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, it's the whole day has gone. Goes into your bag. You go home. Still damp. It basically feels as damp as when it came out of the washing machine. Somehow you're like, what? How much? How has this happened? You put it on the clothes horse. You go to bed. You wake up the next day, dry, dry as a bone. Don't. The tumble dryers suck. So just don't fucking
Yes.
bother, because you'll just hate yourself more.
True. Yeah. No, definitely.
Hell on earth.
Oh, just an arse ache, and you'd always end up. I don't know if you had this. We always ended up with like a random pair of pants that weren't ours in our, and I'm still baffled because it happened very regularly, and there'd be the three of us girls that would share the tumble dry. If you won one more time, we'd all be sat there, and like it was a bit like pass the parcel. You'd pass an item of clothing, and if it was yours, you'd then put it in your pile between us three, and yeah, and then these pants would go back and forth. No, they're not mine. Oh no, they're not mine. I was just going to say my final bit of advice is when you are moving into your house, or even if, because some people do it in first year, they don't go into student accommodation. I would recommend going into student accommodation for first year because they make it simple for you. But when you move into a house, make sure, even when you're moving to student accommodation, actually, I've just done this really stupidly, but anyway, take photos of everything.
Yes.
Everything. Take videos, take photos, and back those photos up in case you lose your phone, because a lot of people lose and break their phones in first year. And yeah, store that somewhere.
Yeah.
Because they will try and fuck you over.
Yeah.
My accommodation tried to say that I had burnt the bottom of my shelves. Like, somebody had put out like a cigarette or something on the shelving rack, and I didn't think to take a photo of the bottom of my shelves because, like, why would I? And I hadn't even noticed it was there until I moved out, if I'm honest. Yeah, so a smoker or someone had been in there and done that, and yeah, so I had to argue with them, and I was like, look, I don't smoke, this isn't me, and they were cool about it and let me off. But we had a similar thing in our third year house. They tried to charge us for leaving. When we moved in, there was an extra iron, an extra toaster, and an extra kettle, I think, or something, and they tried to charge us for leaving them behind, even though they were there when we got there. And it was something like 40 quid or 60 quid removal fees for literally them gaining appliances.
Definitely. Landlords are massive cunts, generally.
Especially student landlords, because
student landlords are worse. They know they can get you for virtually anything, and they can feel fairly confident you'll just give up because you just want your small deposit back. So you'll be like, you'll take whatever, you'll take half. But don't. Definitely take pictures when you move in, before you unpack your stuff. Take pictures at the end when you've packed up your stuff. Take pictures of every little thing. Make sure that scratch on the wall, take a picture of it. It's pictures of everything. It's going to look like a mess. You're going to need that because when you leave, weird thing. My landlord, when I left second year, he tried to charge us all money for deep cleaning the house. And I was like, no, I'm not actually accepting this because I know that I didn't leave that house in a mess. And he was like, oh, well, yeah, you did. His big issue was dust. He said there was dust, so we had to do a thick, deep clean, and it was like, I was like, there wasn't. There was not. When I left, there wasn't there. And basically, his issue was we'd all left a week early because we all, like, 2 of them were going on a year abroad. The others, we already had somewhere else to go, so we moved out. Fine.
Yeah.
In the week that passed between us moving out and the end of our contract, dust settles. It's similar to how in your house you dust something, and within a few days there's some dust back on it. It's how dust goes; it settles. And so he tried to claim that because there was dust in places, we hadn't cleaned it properly, and so he had to charge £100 each for a deep clean. And so I was like, nope, it's not happening. It's not happening. And in the end, we went to. So here you go. Here's some good, solid advice. So your deposit has to be kept in what they call a deposit protection scheme. So
Yeah.
basically, that money goes and is kept because the whole time that's your money. It's never the landlord's money. It's always your money. Okay,
Yeah.
it's just there as a security thing. So it goes into this account separate from the landlords. They can't spend that money legally. They
Yeah.
cannot. At the end of it, the landlord goes through and looks at it and goes, "Well, I think you owe me £100 for this." You
Yeah.
disagree. Now, your first step is you try and sort it out between you. The landlord will normally make it difficult for you. When you reach the point where you know there's no progress being made, you go to the next step, which is I forget what's called, but it's dispute resolution. Basically, you
Yeah.
both provide your evidence, and it's on the landlord to prove his. So you don't. It's not on you to prove that you haven't, or like
Yeah.
it's not on you to prove that
because
there
they're
wasn't
the
dust.
one
It's he
asking
has
for
to
the
prove there
money.
was
Yeah.
dust there. Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, he puts his thing forward and he puts his case forward. You then put your case forward. They, as an independent person, they're not like biased towards either side. They look at it and they go, "This is the conclusion." And in that situation, we went through it. They called us up. Yeah, you got your money back. Really quick decision because the pictures he
Yeah.
sent were like, it was like a bit of dust. Like he couldn't
Yeah.
charge for that because it was within like the guidelines of it being reasonable wear and tear kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it was dust. So don't be afraid to be a dick and really push for it because landlords will definitely try and cheat you out of a bit extra. You're being overcharged for your place at uni. Whatever's happening, you're definitely being overcharged for it because you're a student and you can be exploited.
Yeah.
And they will even in the end try and claw a little bit more out of you. So give them the finger and say, nope, I want my
See,
dollar back.
we paid for one of their recommended cleaning companies to cut. I mean, even though we spent ages cleaning that house anyway, but we paid £100 each to have our house deep cleaned because we've been there for 2 years and we needed the carpets done, and we would have had to rent equipment and stuff. So it just worked out like cheaper for us to pay for somebody to come in. But yeah, like be prepared as well. I hadn't really thought this through, but you have to pay a deposit for your second year house.
Yeah.
But if you are like me, who took the longest contract, so I took a contract of a year for my student accommodation, so I could be there over summer. You are going to have an overlap where you're paying rent for two places and you've got to fork out for a deposit.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that. You might need to work or whatever. You also need guarantors. So you need people to be able to, who are homeowners within the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like because we're in Oxford, our house was valued at like, I don't know, £650,000.
Much more than my little Birmingham house would have been.
Like it was a very like I mean it wasn't anything spectacular, but because of where it was, it's expensive. So like how much was your deposit?
It was £400, I think.
Yeah, guess how much mine was?
Like I'm gonna say at least up. I'm gonna say 800.
875.
Jesus.
So yeah, be prepared to be rinsed. And then yeah, you pay that money, and then you're like, oh well, yeah, well I'll get it back, and then you stay there for 2 years, and then by the time you get it back, it pays off your overdraft. So, yeah,
that's your money to get back for sure. And my final piece would be kind of attached to that. There is a lot of pressure from virtually every direction for you to decide in first year within 2 months who you're living with the next year.
Oh my god,
and where
yes.
you're living.
Yep.
Do not fall pressure to that, because if you go to a student letting agent, which you will, they will try and rush you so quickly into making a decision on where you're living. It's insane. You don't make a decision that fast on where you want to live the next year. Also, and this is the thing, they will definitely try to pressure you and make it seem like there is one house available, and if you miss it, you're homeless. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You're living in a university city. There are houses everywhere. You will find somewhere. It is inevitable, right? Especially in somewhere like Birmingham, There's 5 universities in Birmingham. There's a shit ton of
Fucking
student
hell.
accommodation. So just don't stress. Like, take longer than... If in January you still don't have a house and you don't have an idea who you're living with, relax. You can start then. It's all good.
Yeah.
You will be fine. And you'll probably find that if you take a bit longer, you'll find somewhere that is nice and you're comfortable with. Because some student houses are pretty
Oh
nasty.
my
Don't
God.
get rushed to sign the contract for a house that looks like a piece of shit.
And
If it
make
makes
sure you
look...
go and see it as well.
Yeah.
Like, view it. Because
Yeah,
we
definitely.
viewed one that looked great on pictures, and it just stunk of boys.
Yeah.
It just stunk of stinky, stinky boys.
Yeah.
And there was no light. Like, there was it was a really long house, and it was semi-detached. So, or it was semi-detached, and there was no natural light in some of the rooms, which you need. You need natural light because you're going to spend a lot of time in that room. So, yeah.
University is just very like strange. Like, there's a lot of people at every juncture who try to take advantage of you and press you into making a decision. So just be prepared to give a lot of people a finger and say, nope, I'm going to take a bit longer on this because I need that extra time. You'll thank yourself.
Yeah. Like, don't say yes to people to move in with out of being nice.
Absolutely not.
Like, don't... If you feel bad for someone because they haven't found housemates yet, you don't... That's not your problem.
It's not your job.
That's their problem.
Not your responsibility.
Because you will end up miserable if you end up just saying yes to someone and then don't like them and they cause you a load of issues.
Yeah.
And there will be people you don't like. And the chances are, if you end up... And the student accommodations these days... I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger for how many people are in one flat. Like, you were the same as me, I think, Chris. You had, 6 people in your first flat?
We actually had
was it
8 people.
8.
Yeah, 4 boys, 4 girls.
It can be like... I mean, 8 is quite a lot. There was 6 of us. But I know there's some houses that have, 14, flats, which... You're not going to like all of them.
And they're not all going to like you.
Yeah, so just accept it.
Accept it. It'll be easier for you.
And have the best time if you're going to uni.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, maybe I focused a lot on the negatives, but that's just because I think if you're aware of the negatives, you can enjoy the positives, and there are positives. I've met some great people by going to uni. I've had some great times. And I wouldn't be... I'm not really convinced that we'd be sat here doing this podcast had I not gone to university and done things I've done. So,
yeah, I can safely say that they were the best 3 years of my life. Even though I'm still at uni.
They're alright. I'm not sure I'd go. I'm not sure. It's because I didn't think I'd say that any years so far are the best.
Yeah, that's.
They've been years. They've been years of varying goodness.
But yeah.
They're alright.
Anyway, we love you.
Much love. I actually have an idea for next week's podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. Normally, I'm not good with ideas. Because I either don't have any, or if I have them, I don't like to tell people about them because I'm worried that they'll be shit. So for a lot of these, Kat has been really good at coming up with these ideas of things, and then we've gone from there. But here's an idea. We'll workshop it. If you hate it, just tell me you hate it and we won't do it.
Okay. I hate it. No.
Alright, fair enough. End off. No. As you know, I have long said that there should be a business called African Jeans.
Yeah.
Which focuses on making jeans for those people with big bums.
Big booties.
And thick thighs. And what I think would be really good is I would love to know what people's idea for a business would be. If you could start a business, if you could create a business or create a product.
I love this.
What would it be? What I'm saying is we're gonna have Dragon's Den, but you give us the vague idea. You give us as much or as little information as you want. Bear in mind, if you give us less, I'm just gonna turn it into we'll invent something in there. I would love to know what your ideas are, and we will judge them and let you know whether we'd put money behind it or not. What do you think?
I love this idea so much. And who doesn't love Dragon's Den? Right. So, this week, for the music, Should we roll into that?
So welcome to the music segment. How are you? How are you doing? How are you today? I know you probably just listened to the podcast, but how are you again? Just checking in. You doing all right? You having a good time?
Good. If you're not, then why are you still here?
Yeah. I mean, not that you should leave. I mean, if you're here now, it would be rude to leave. You may as well settle in, drop a like on the video, subscribe, follow, that kind of thing.
With this week, I was so glad that you submitted songs early because I don't know if other people find this, but when you've got deadlines, I can't listen to songs I know because I get distracted. And sometimes I pick music that I don't necessarily like either, so that I can just not get distracted by it again. Like it's just in the background. And then I sat there and I was like, I really want to listen to music, but I have no idea what to listen to. And then I saw your message and that you'd uploaded your
I didn't
tracks.
know that this was going on. I just did it. This was unrelated, but it shows, look, we're in sync, you know?
I was so excited. I actually do know one of the songs on this list, which was Bloom by the Paper Kites.
Nice.
Because I was doing my work whilst I was listening to your tracks as well. So I listened to them all, then I liked them, so then I just kept them on repeat whilst I was working. 3 songs on repeat. I don't know what I was thinking, but got me through. And I realised, I thought, oh, has it gone onto one of my other playlists? Because I know this song. And no, you popped it in, and I did know it.
Yeah, it's actually I'm just looking here. Apparently, it's released in September 2010. I discovered it last week because
it's really like very well streamed. It's a very well known song.
Yeah, I think that's it. I again, it seems that I say this every week. One of the people I watch on Twix.
Twix. Oh, I fancy a Twix.
Oh, I'd love a Twix. Maybe that's my subconscious. One of the people I watch on Twitch. Hi Max, you should definitely go follow him. He was doing a drawing stream last week and had like these kind of songs going on in the background, and so I heard this song and I was like, this is really nice. I like this, and to be honest, it did feel kind of familiar, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But I was like, we'll whack it on the playlist because I quite enjoy it. So yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, just like indie chill. It was nice because it was sort of throwback to my youthful indie days at school. I guess that sort of reminded me of because I sort of listen to more like pop and rock now.
Yeah.
It was quite nice going back to sort of indie because I do like indie. I just don't like get as many recommendations and stuff these days, so it was really nice.
Yeah, I just found it a really nice kind of sweet song, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it's just like a nice innocent, like it is a kind of song that sends me back about 10 years because it feels a lot more carefree. It's just very you know, like it's okay. Guess what? We're going back to the lyrics, boys. So it's just very nice, and it's like, oh, in the morning when I wake and the sun is coming through, oh, you fill my lungs with sweetness and you fill my head with you. It's like, ah, that's very nice. It's just all very like, whenever I say lovely, I think
airy,
of Piers.
fairy.
Because lovely is a word that I now just associate with Piers for some reason. Don't know why. But it is very lovely. It's just very nice, very sweet. It's like a nice hug at the end of it. I keep listening to it in like the evening. And it's just like, hey, it's all good. We're gonna be
like
right.
Looking at the song details, it's called Bloom by the Paper Kites on the Woodland EP. All of those words, like I just feel like, you know, when you get sort of those gimmicky frames and they have something in it already, and they'll say like a bunch of like nice words on a piece of paper. It just sort of makes me think of that. Like you'd have Woodland, Bloom.
Yeah.
Paper kites. Like
it is just nice, and it's not in a. I don't. It's not a bad thing for me. I like it. It's just like.
Yeah.
It's just. I like it. You know, it just makes me feel calm, and I think that's nice. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, we went for kind of different vibes this week.
We did. And speaking of, I suppose I should probably go there. So, 1933 by Frank Turner. Now,
Do you know Frank Turner to start with?
you've shown me Frank Turner before.
He's my fave.
But I haven't listened in ages.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw 1933.
Oh,
and
you were like, uh-oh, here we
oh,
go.
no. This isn't. Don't do it. Don't do it. And
It shouldn't be that happy, should it? You shouldn't have a song called 1933. It's like, oh fuck, and then it's happy.
yeah, if someone who studied history and therefore studied the Nazis virtually every single
Hitler
year of
coming
secondary
to
school,
power. Yeah.
1933 is just me going, no, oh no, it's gonna be about the Nazis. And I obviously I wasn't worried I was about to listen to some like pro-Nazi song, but like I was just like, oh, it's gonna be so depressing. And it is, but
It's
not.
not. Like, that's the beauty with Frank Turner. He like what is like he has the catchphrase something like happy songs for sad people or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hate myself for not knowing this. But anyway, like it just really suits he suits the overthinkers of the indie punk genre.
Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
That's me.
You will love him. You just need time with him.
He is brilliant. And this song was really like. So I listened to it and I was like, all right, I see what you're saying here. Because what I got from it was this sense of, it's kind of what a lot of people have said, and I think maybe it's possibly a little bit over dramatized, but you know, all the stuff with that orange baby over in America. That's right, Donald Trump. And various other politicians they are doing a lot of things, or had been doing a lot of things that were kind of, you could see parallels with some of the things the Nazis did, not in the same way, obviously, but in a sense of them saying really simple things for really complex problems. Like, Donald Trump was a master of simplifying things down to the most stupid things and giving you a simple reason for why something wasn't happening. And people would believe it because they were desperate, and it was very similar to how he rose to power in the first place in terms of Hitler. So I got that, and I was like, all right, I see what you're saying. You're like, it feels like we're repeating ourselves in a sense. Again, it's different contexts, different levels, but I kind of got that. But I also can appreciate it from the musical side of it. It's just a very upbeat song. It's a bit like, you know, it almost feels like he's going, fucking hell, we're back here again. I'm not interested right now. Like, I'm just gonna go have a drink because this is fucking bullshit. How are we back here again?
Yeah.
Like, you guys pour me a drink and I'm gonna go out back. So, you know, I was like, I don't know how you've managed to make something depressing sound upbeat, but good on you, Frank.
And like, I just love the screaming at the grandkids that we already did this. I just love that because it's just so, the idea of history repeating itself, but in a new type of way. And he's just so talented. I just love him so much. Earlier, the album, and I couldn't think of the fucking name, and also the sort of catchphrase is, well, I mean, it's positive songs for negative people.
That's the one.
Which is the album, but I think that's a really way of describing the fan base as well. Like, positive songs for negative people. I just think that. Ugh. He's also got a song called Thatcher Fucked the Kids. He's just such a legend. Honestly, he just listen to Frank Turner. He will change your life. He is. If I had, you know, the whole like desert island, what would you take if you were stuck on desert island thing? Like, having Frank Turner's album, or you know, don't do the whole, oh yeah, but you need to take a CD player and all that shit. Like, no. Frank Turner's album, like, it's just Frank Turner. I would just take Frank Turner with me.
Turner. Fair play.
And a guitar. There you go. Frank Turner guitar and Pierce. And there we go.
That's
I'm done.
God, that I would pay to see that actually.
Oh.
Frank Turner and Pierce. That would be a. How can I make that happen? I want that now. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Anyway, should we move on to Beck? Oh my god, that's another like bit of a throwback sort of like with Beck. I haven't listened to Beck in so long.
Yeah.
And that was, I had a moment where I was like, is this Beck? Like Beck? And I was like, is this like some new band? And then I was like, no,
Nope.
it's Beck.
It's him. Still going.
Caught me by surprise. I really vibed with this song. This was actually my favourite out of your songs, I think.
I heard it on it was on a TV show or something, and I Shazammed it. And it came up and it was like, by Beck. And I'm like, this isn't Beck, don't... But
yeah,
you know how Shazam sometimes just gives you the wrong song, and you're like, no, come on, try again. And so I did it 3-4 times, and every time it was like, yep, this is it. And I'm like, I'm gonna listen, but if you're wrong, I'm uninstalling you. And as you can tell, Shazam remains installed on my phone. Yeah, it's not... I think because I haven't listened to Beck in so long, listening to this, I was like, hello? Are you the same person?
Honestly, like, it didn't process my head. Sorry, I was scrolling through Spotify and to see like when his sort of really popular stuff came out, and I mean he had an album out in '94, which is 4 years before either of us were, well, 5 years before you and 4 years for me. Before either of us were born, which is just like,
he's basically been quite good at reinventing himself.
Yeah,
like, and staying... It's a difficult thing, I've always thought, as a musician, to find a way to stay relevant in that sense, or like popular.
Yeah, to be commercial.
And not a lot of people manage it. A lot of bands kind of, you know, they have their sound and they just kind of stick with it. So it's like and they don't really evolve as such, which is fine. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's different things. But this is a very like poppy song, right?
Yeah, and it's not dated or anything.
It doesn't feel dated, and
I'm gonna do it because you're probably too scared to. But like Coldplay, I mean, you think people can slag them off all they want, but they are probably one of the best examples for a band that have reinvented themselves to keep themselves relevant throughout their lifespan.
I think that's the thing. Definitely. Each one of their albums is kind of... I think that's why part of the reason why people don't like them, and fair play, is because they don't... Their sound adapts with each album. It's slightly different. It's slightly more like... This is the band that went from doing like acoustic songs with a guitar and stuff and fine, to making a song with Avicii. Like, it's a band with... They've, you know, forget your opinions on them. They do try to kind of keep evolving, keep changing, keep trying new things. And I think you have to commend that in a musician. And I think it's really good that the Beck has managed to stay relevant for, you know, what's that, 14? No, 14?
24.
Oh, whatever. However many years. Like, I couldn't do maths then at all. But, like, how you can do it and create a song like this that is just really good. I had it on repeat, this one song, for a day, almost.
Yeah, no, that's why I could repeat when I was doing my work and stuff.
It's just it's a bop. Honestly, it made me feel like, especially with it, like the weather's been a bit sunnier this week, and it does have that effect on you, making you feel a bit more positive, even if you're not. In my case, I've been feeling quite tired, but weirdly positive and tired. And yeah, it was a really good bop. I liked it. I liked it for sure, and it was nice to have that moment of, oh, you're still going, and you're not sounding bad. Fair play to you. I was going to go on to your one. I was going to go on to Nothing Ever Changes by Sodi.
Yes. A bit deep.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It reminded me a bit, her voice. Oh, wait, no, hang on. Let me remind myself. Yes. It reminded me a little bit of Katie Baser from last week.
Oh, yeah.
Last week? 2 weeks ago, maybe.
2 weeks. That sounds about right.
2 weeks ago. It's that kind of... There's something at her voice that just... It felt kind of similar in terms of her actual voice. But, yeah, the song, it's pretty deep, huh?
Oh, yeah. So the sort of story of it, which, again, I love storytelling lyrics, is about a person in her life who's dealing with an alcohol addiction, and just that they can't, basically that she's just devastated and she can't have them in her life anymore because they're just too toxic to be around, and the idea that if you loved me enough then you would quit.
Yeah.
It's just a very, I heard that song, and it's a shame because it's not one of her most popular songs. I mean, I'm glad she's popular and she's got other songs that are doing well, but for me that song was just, it'll be relatable to a lot of people, but
For sure.
it just hit home. You're fucking hell, like that song actually, made me feel things. So
I could almost picture myself in the situation. That's
yeah,
the skill to which I felt like, oh my god, this is horrible. This is so, like, it must feel awful to be in a situation with someone that you love, and you're desperate to try and help them get past this thing, and in the end, you have to leave because you just can't with it anymore.
there's like a little second song in it at the end, like an outro thing, and she says you can't buy love or laughter or happiness, and that's just sort of like on repeat.
You can just hear it. You can hear it in her voice that she's like, it's gone. Like, you can tell it's the end for her, and she's just like, look, I have to leave. You can't buy me presents to make me forget. I'm not gonna stick around anymore. It's I've I've had enough of this, and yeah, it was really it definitely made me feel things. Where would you like to go?
So I think we should. She's 20, by the way. I think we should go on to your last song.
Okay.
Tell me about your last song.
Yeah. So it is a long one. I'm just looking here. 5 minutes 18.
Is it that long? It didn't feel that long.
It doesn't feel like it at all. It's very dreamlike kind of thing, maybe like that kind of thing of like the guitar riff is just it's all very like calming, and like your brain kind of just naturally calms itself. And I wasn't able to find actual lyrics because I think it's quite a new song, but I was reading this thing and it was about I think they compared it to being like feeling overwhelmed and kind of like immensely like emotional and weighed down. What did you think?
Again, like, it just sort of, it was very chill and very sort of like easy listening and dreamlike, sort of like you said. And I know what you're on about, because it says flood is one long metaphor for being completely overwhelmed and overcome by someone and losing all sense of control within them.
Yeah, for sure. That was it. Yeah, so they said that process allowed bassist Josh Longman to explore his father's death along with singer Jenna Kyle, who was dealing with the end of her long-term relationship. And it's like a weird Venn diagram where you have these different situations, but the overlapping feeling is that feeling of being completely overwhelmed. I love it. And it was also when I spent a while looking for for a band, because I was like, I want to find someone who I've not listened to before, someone kind of local, and so this band they're actually from Buckinghamshire, born in Aylesbury, which is not a million miles away from either of us.
It's halfway between both of us, actually.
Pretty much, it's not too far at all. So it's kind of, it feels quite local, but apparently they're now based in like London. They define themselves as being sadcore, which I love.
Sadcore, that's so cute.
I'm going to start using that from now on. But yeah, so they were kind of local to us at one point anyway. Just a really nice song. It does not feel as long as it is. In fact, if anything, when I listened to it the first time, I was like, oh, I want more of that. So, realistically, I spent about 10 minutes with this song. Because it just, if you switch off from the lyrics, you just kind of float and you just kind of switch off and you're just calm again. And both the Sodi song and your last one, Danny Murphy and Falling, were more held back and restrained kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. But you did that very smoothly.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm getting
with
good at this.
Danny Murphy's song. So Danny Murphy actually, I found her on TikTok.
TikTok, you say? You never find songs on TikTok.
No, and it wasn't. What happened was she'd posted this video that had gone viral of her at a Jessie J concert when she was 14, I think, and Jessie J gave her the mic to sing part of it, and she just popped off and was like brilliant. And yeah, and she started writing songs, and I thought, oh, I'll have a listen, and I really liked the song. I thought it was good, like good songwriting example, and it's been saved. It's been on my like list because, like I said earlier, I haven't really been listening to too much new music this past week just because I've been studying, and so I was sort of in a panic, like what songs can I put on the list? And I was going through, and I remembered the name and clicked on it. I was like, oh my god, yes, this song. Why didn't I listen to this more? It's good. It's great. It talks about sort of weight issues as well. About, I think it's like fitting into that dress. But it's saying, about being body positive, and that's not. It's not very important,
Yeah, for sure. And it was something I was thinking about listening to this, and I'm glad that it's happening at the moment. There's a lot of young females coming into the music industry and releasing music and just doing their thing. They're not it doesn't feel like they're necessarily trying to produce something that is like just a standard pop song. There's a message in there. There's always a message in there. That's the thing I've definitely got with a few of these now. With the Katie Baser song a couple of weeks back, with the Sodi song, it's that kind of thing of these new young female artists coming through and just singing a bit about their experiences, and I think that's really good. I like that. I think it's a good positive thing for music, and I'm kind of quite excited to see where it goes,
Yeah, I want to see. She's actually quite small. She's doing. She's nearly on 100,000 followers on TikTok, but.
Well, guys, let's get in there. Let's be in there before 100K.
Exactly, but this song is 14,000 streams, so I just find that astonishing. It sounds like it should be in the charts. Like, she's
for sure. So I listened to it before I like Googled it or anything, like I do with all these songs. And so I was like, listening to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is by someone who must have been around for a while. Googling it, I'm like, why am I finding so little on this person?
Yeah.
Like, I was getting angry. I was like, am I spelling it wrong? Am I being an idiot? And she's just very new to this. And I was like, brilliant. Well, we're here at the beginning, so everyone, let's get on this, yeah? Stream it. Listen to the playlist. Listen to the whole playlist. Available now.
She's only 17. How crazy is that?
Whoa, okay. That's even crazier.
Like... Oh, I forgot about this. I really loved the production on this track. I'd be interested to see who did it, because it was very like sort of like Ariana Grande.
It was brilliantly done.
Like Dua Lipa. Yeah, like
yeah. In fact, it reminded me of, I don't know if you remember last week, the song by PIA.
Yes.
Fall Apart. It was that kind of thing of like, yeah, it was very nice, very in some ways just quite simple, like it's just her and a piano, but there's the production in there as well, and it takes it up a level,
Yeah.
In ways that I can't describe, but it's good. It's good.
For sure.
Let's get in there, people. Get in there. Let's stream it. Let's follow. Let's be in for 100K.
Yeah, before she blows up and she's this massive.
We can be the cool kids who say, "Yeah, I knew about Danny Murphy. I was here."
Yeah, I'd be interested to go and see her at a concert. To be honest, because I think she will blow up. Anyway, thank you for listening to our podcast.
Absolutely. Please get in touch with your business ideas, or I'm ready. I'm ready for this. We're gonna have our little Dragon's Den rip off. and I'm ready to invest or not in your ideas.
And it will put us in good stead because what episode are we on now? 13?
13?
So next week will be 14. So then the week after that will be a deep, meaningful, serious podcast. So it would be nice to have next week we are having a gap.
Yes, we are.
I forgot to say. I've got deadlines and Chris needs a break for himself.
I just needs to be able to rest because my life has seemingly not stopped, even though I'm not doing much. Work that one out. But we're gonna have a week off because it's what we kind of need just for ourselves to not be too overwhelmed, and I think we'd rather take a week off and come back refreshed rather than carry on and make a really shit podcast.
Exactly.
I'd hate editing it, we'd hate listening back to it, and I'd feel bad forever for releasing that.
And we now have an extra week to sort of get your ideas and stuff, which would be really cool.
I will look forward to receiving your business plans, and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time to play the numbers game.
Okay, we AMSR. Wait,
ASMR.
Yeah, did I say it right? Oh, I don't know. But anyway.
Okay, bye everyone. See you later. Bye.